Hello, if you were absent for pedigrees, here is your little tutorial. Grab your notes. I know the notes are hard to see because it's far away from the camera, but just follow along. Alright, so what's a pedigree? A pedigree is a diagram. It shows the passing of a genetic trait through a family. And how do we read a pedigree? Well, let's look at one first. Flip your paper over. This is a pedigree. Okay, notice you've got some numbers, some Roman numerals, some regular Arabic numbers. You got squares, circles, lines. That's a pedigree. Okay. All right, so each generation on a pedigree is represented by a Roman numeral. Each person in a generation is numbered below the symbol. The males are represented by a square. The females are represented by a circle. Now, if an individual is shaded in our lab that we're doing, if the person is shaded, they are recessive. Okay? So if they're colored in, if the symbol is colored in like this, that means they're recessive. Now those are your most valuable people in a pedigree because they give you clues to what the genotypes are to people around them. All right, so I'm going to call them your clue people or animals, whatever you're dealing with. So, but they're really, really important to pay close attention to these people because recessive means you've got two recessive alleles for a trait. One from your mom, one from dad. But it means we know both of your letters. Okay, if an individual is unshaded, meaning not colored in, they have the dominant trait. They are showing the dominant trait. They have the dominant trait. Now, we don't know if they are big, as in like big B, or big B, little b. And so we'll have to look at the whole family tree or pedigree to try to figure out what their genes are if we can. Okay? All right, here's a quick example. We're just going to draw one together. So I'm going to draw a dad and a mom. Now this horizontal line is the marriage line, or if we're talking animals, we just call it a mating line. All right? And let's say that they have some children. So this is the children's line. And I'm going to give them 3 kids. So let's draw another horizontal line, and then give them 3 notches. 1, 2, 3. All right, now when I draw them, we're going to do them in the birth order. The first kid, the first child, the oldest child, I'm going to say is a boy. Let's say the second kid is a boy. And let's say the third child is a girl. All right, so this is oldest and youngest. All right. We need to do our numbering. So this is generation 1, Roman numeral 1. This is generation 2. And then we number our people. This is person 1 and person 2 in generation 1. Start over with your numbering. So person 1, 2, and 3. Let's make person 1-2, let's make that person recessive. So I'm just deciding that I'm going to show that they're recessive. And let's say that in this one, the middle child is recessive. Okay? So it might look like this. That's your pedigree so far. All right, we're not going to try to figure out the letters yet. All right, what sex is the oldest child? That would be a male. Sex of the youngest child, that's female. Who shows the recessive trait? We would write it like this, 1-2 and 2-2. Okay. Who shows the dominant trait? 1-1, 2-1, and 2-3. All right, let's flip it over and have some fun with the back. Now, these rules, if you follow these rules, you're going to do great with pedigrees. All right, the first rule says to assign 2 recessive genes to any person who is shaded. All right, let's use the letters E. And that's going to be, big E stands for, let's say, free earlobes, all right? And little e stands for So if we've got, sorry, I'm going to do the key the right way. Big, big, free earlobes. Big, little, free earlobes. And little, little means attached earlobes. All right? So that's my key. Now, step 1, give 2 recessive genes to the people who are shaded. So underneath, we're going to write their genotypes underneath. Done. Done with step 1. All the shaded people are recessive. Step 2, assign 1 dominant gene, only 1, to anybody who's unshaded, so not colored in. Give them a big E, nothing else. I like to put a dash. Big E, nothing else. Big E, nothing else, and so on. Dash. All right, so now it says to figure out what the second gene is for the unshaded people, construct a Punnett square. I like to say, first of all, think about it before you need to do a Punnett square to prove it. So let's look. Here's our clue person, Dad. He has 2 little e's. He only can give his children little e's. All right? Here's one of his kids, second kid, third kid. Notice that this is an in-law. Let's not look at that yet. All right, Dad can only give little e's to his kids. Every dad gives 1 letter, 1 allele to his offspring. So he gave a little e to this kid, he's got to give a little e to this kid, and he's got to give a little e to this kid. All right? The other parent gives 1 allele to the children as well. Well, we don't know what this one is, but look down here. A clue person. It says little e under them. Where did this kid get both of those little e's? Well, one of them came from Dad, but one of them came from Mom. So we got to give Mom a little e. That's why this is a clue person. It tells us about Mom. All right, we figured out this family. Now let's open it up and look at the in-law here, the brother-in-law and the child. So we know Mom has 2 little e's. That must mean that Mom is going to give the baby a little e. Kid must have a little e. Now, the in-law here, it's dominant. Could this person be big E, and have this child? Yes, absolutely. So let's give them a big E. But could they also be big E, little e, and still have this child? Yes, they could. All right, if you don't understand that, do a couple of Punnett squares. Do 1 Punnett square between big E crossed with big E, little e, and you can just do it over here somewhere. All right, can you get this child? Yes, you can. Heterozygous. All right. What if we have a Punnett square between a big little person and a little? Can you get this child again? So let's try it. Big little crossed with little. Do the Punnett square. Can we get any heterozygous children? Yes, we can. Again, if you've got it in there. So this person is what I call an either or. And I always tell my students, write both of them. You can't say beyond a doubt that this person is big, because they could be big little. All right? That's all there is to it. All right, we're done. Thank you. Actually, we're not done. Let me show you one more thing. What if you have a family tree, little teeny tiny, that looks like this? And I ask you to give me the genotypes, and we're using letter E. Not enough info. We just know that all of them have a big E. And so what you'd have to say is that all of these people are either or people. They could be big. They could be big little. One of my students would say, oh, but they must all be big because there's no recessive. There's no recessive people. The pedigree is too small to know that for sure. So you have to write the either or for all of them. All right? Okay, thanks. That's it.